Okay, so I go online, and Thunderf00t's made another video, and it's about one particular individual, and we'll go through it and we'll comment as we go along, so you can get my take on things.
So there's this Muslim guy who makes the weakestly veiled death threats.
Wait a second. The weakestly veiled death threats. I don't think you can actually say that, but let's just carry on with the video and see where you're coming from.
Suggesting that his religion gives him the right to kill people.
No, that's, your misrepresentation of what he said, Mr. Thunderf00t. It's not that his religion gives him the right to kill people. It's that his religion gives him the rights to self-defense and the protection of innocents. This is something which you happen to have very conveniently forgot within this particular 12-minute, 22-second video that you created.
They claim that even the most reviled hate groups in America try to stay clear of him. But more specifically, after some beating around the bush, he actually comes to the conclusion that his religion gives him the right to specifically kill me.
No, he hasn't actually said that whatsoever. I've seen no information to that effect. There's been nothing in his videos which has suggested that. This is a product of your own paranoid, deluded imagination.
Under some contrived circumstances, of course.
Yeah, right.
Oh, and for those who need a refresher, here is the clip in full. In full. Yeah, this is the full quote. There is no effort to mine this, to put in
okay, well this should be interesting in that case.
All slides in order to change the meaning. This is the full quote. And I'll be frank, the hate and spite in this guy's facial expressions says it all.
Well, hang on a second. This is after you had actually threatened his nation, his people, his religion, and actually with something which looked like a threat of genocide. So essentially, for him to be a little pissed off, well, I think that would be quite understandable. But you haven't taken that into account in this particular video because you've decided to try and misrepresent him. This is a dishonest tactic. Hey, wasn't there a YouTube user at one point called, oh, that's right, Thunderf00t, who did an entire series about dishonest tactics? And that was you before you suddenly turned evil, you sick, twisted fuck.
Just look at the eyes.
Yeah, right, just look at the eyes. The eyes of someone who's had someone threaten his people, his nation, his religion with genocide.
Thunderf00t. And people who think like you.
Okay, so there's an individual who's known as Thunderf00t who's had like a desire to threaten an entire nation with genocide. Okay, so Addy, what he's saying is you, the person who threatens my people with genocide and people who think like you. That's the type of people he's targeting with this one particular statement.
If you ever try to awaken any sort of sleeping giant that is hostile to any Muslim or non-Muslim
Okay, so if anyone tries to raise something nasty against anyone
innocent person
who's an innocent person,
as mandated in the Quran,
as is recommended within certain religious traditions,
and the true interpretation of the Sharia that all true Muslims and the majority of the Muslims in the world share. We Muslims, the servants of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and our non-Muslim allies, will send you to the God that you wish you knew.
Oh, check that out. Okay, he says, send you to the God you wish you knew, and Thunderf00t puts up the phrase, will kill you. Now, is that necessarily the case? Bottom line, no. It may be poorly chosen words, but the words will kill you has been added by Thunderf00t, okay? This is, again, a great, terrible misrepresentation for the purposes of blackening an individual's character. So let's try and reiterate what Dawa Films has said. So, if you, the kind of person who threatens genocide against my people or any other people, do something terrible to these people, namely genocide or something of that nature, we will essentially find a way of doing justice against you. This is what the man's saying, and those would probably be the views of anybody in any particular nation. Although the words would have been chosen a little inappropriately, you might say. He's not threatening you personally. And for anyone to leap to the conclusion that Darwa Films is threatening them personally suggests that they are paranoid and delusional. So we got this paranoid delusional scientist who's out there on the internet ranting and raving. Oh my word, 21st century. You'd have thought we'd have got past all this stuff by now.
Not as a threat, not as a promise, but a mandate of justice.
Yeah, justice will be done, okay? And look at the words Thunderfoot's put here. All that fantasizing so you can say it's okay for Muslims to kill me. No, it was to kill people who threaten genocide upon another group. That's what he was saying. That is the context of the video that Darwa Films actually put out. Right, that's the context. And to show this full clip with all of these subtitles and all these other bits of text here, that is a massive misrepresentation and an intellectually dishonest way of broadcasting. Dishonest like Venom Fang X. Dishonest like Nephilim Free. And this is the level which Thunderfoot has sunk to.
Normally I don't attach links to smaller channels for fear of swamping them. But given the number of people who have previously voiced concerns about this being quite mined or being shown in a false light, No. It is quote mined, it is being shown in a false light, and I think I've demonstrated quite clearly why that is the case, alright? The context essentially came as a result of you attacking his entire nation, his entire people, his entire race, his entire religious group. Okay? All Muslims. That's what you wanted to do, and that's what you did, Thunderfoot, because you're a dishonest fuck. Alright? And that one video itself is not the full context. The full context is the videos that you put out against him. Alright? And that explains it much more. At bit of it. The link is included below, and I implore people to go and watch the video and just see what the face of moderate Islam has to offer. I mean, it's farcical. The guy's...
Hang on. What the face of moderate Islam has to offer. So essentially you're now saying, I mean previously you said that all Muslims were evil people, and now you're saying that the face of moderate Islam is one particular person. So now you're misrepresenting the whole of moderate Islam with one particular person who has been placed in a position which is misrepresented by you. You, the man who's essentially threatened genocide against all his people.
Starts out in the beginning of the video claiming that I don't make the distinction between the different types of Muslims.
Which is correct and true. Okay, the true interpretation of the Sharia is essentially self-defense of their people and also the protection of innocence. That is the true interpretation of the Sharia. But unfortunately, Mr. Thunderfoot, you haven't mentioned that because it doesn't fit in with your particular ideology, because you're a twisted individual who's paranoid and has gone insane. Okay, just look at the imagery, okay? He's showing the Twin Towers, death threats from moderate Muslims. More bad journalism, you could say. And then, of course, there's the sleeping giant video, which is incredibly wrong. If you just think about it, we've got up to 3:30 in this video. And already, I've done we've gone into this for over 10 minutes on my video. And you can already see precisely that it's dishonest work. Okay? If someone is going to start with an opening gambit, which is so emotional, which is so dishonest, which is incorrect, which doesn't take into account the fact that Thunderfoot has done a video threatening an entire nation, something like, a fifth of the population of the world? I can't remember the precise figures. We can see here that Thunderfoot, the YouTube user called Thunderfoot, is essentially being a dishonest, right-wing extremist. Whether he's doing this for effect, I don't know. But it's not the behavior of an individual who is sane, balanced, informed, or has any form of perspective.